one should be in jail just for using or possessing marijuana. It's already legal in many states, and criminal records for marijuana possession have led to needless barriers to employment, to housing, and educational opportunities. And that's before you address the racial disparities around who suffers the consequences. While white and black and brown people use marijuana at similar rates, black and brown people are arrested, prosecuted, and convicted at disproportionately higher rates. So today, I'm taking 3 steps to end this failed approach. First, I'm announcing a pardon for all prior federal offenses for the simple possession of marijuana. There are thousands of people who are convicted for marijuana possession who may be denied employment, housing, or educational opportunities as a result of that conviction. My pardon will remove this burden on them. Second, I'm calling on all governors to do the same for state marijuana possession offenses. Third, the federal government currently classifies marijuana as a Schedule I substance, the same as heroin and LSD, and more serious than fentanyl. It makes no sense. So I'm asking the Secretary of Health and Human Services and the Attorney General to initiate a process to review how marijuana is scheduled under federal law. Even as federal and local regulations of marijuana change, important limitations on trafficking, marketing, and underage sales should stay in place. Too many lives have been upended because of our failed approach to marijuana.
Welcome to another episode. This is Mr. J Synergy. This is J Synergy Talks. Coming to you live and direct like always, just to letting y'all know to stay focused, don't live in the matrix. Please remember that the fall is going to always be harder than the come up, and continue to try to do better every day that you wake up. Now today's story I'm bringing to you is some good news in the day in life and times of us weed smokers. Seems that Mr. President Biden is going to go ahead and pardon and release a lot of felons that caught federal cases for marijuana. I mean, for all the people that partake in the rest and relaxation of the THC, you already know that this is a good thing for us. And not only that, in addition to that, he's going to pardon a lot of convictions for simple drug possessions. He got people actually in the feds right now, which is not that many for marijuana charges. Right now, he's also asking, because at the federal level, as we all know, some states, like he said, hell is practically legal. And he don't feel like that people should keep going to jail and prison for marijuana, especially when it's disproportionated in the areas that most of the arrests are made, which are predominantly the poorer, lower class sections of the city. So with that being said, I got to give hella props to Mr. Joe Biden. And basically for everybody else, you already know what that means. Basically that means go ahead and smoke them and light them and fire them up if you got them. We've been waiting for Biden to do this, boy. It's about time. It's about motherfucking time. But real talk, it is long overdue. It's just like a prohibition with alcohol. But actually, marijuana actually has some good effects physically, mentally, as well as, for some people, even spiritually. I mean, there's a lot more good causes and poison and so forth. It's potato, tomato. Like some people prefer to drink and sip. Some people prefer to smoke and dip. But one thing we do know is he's also asking for the state governments all across the country to do the same. He can't overstep his boundaries and interfere with the state as far as on their laws. He's only the president, which is kind of crazy because they definitely mix religion and state and all the other things. But that's another topic, another time for y'all. That's why I'm always continue to say don't stay in the matrix. Continue to be woke. Continue to search for the truth. Don't believe everything you see, and don't be caught up in all these politics and all these distractions. Biden is doing something that's long overdue. And like you said, even though it's not even legal at federal level, he said, hell, in most states, it's damn near legal. So we just need the rest of the state governors to catch up. I mean, they already find a way to tax it, package it, profit, and all type of stuff. So they basically cornered the market. So they might as well go ahead and make that a decriminalized drug, period. I think that's about time. That's where we're at right now. United States is advancing everything else as far as relationships and all other things, gender. So I mean, you might as well throw bud smoking in there. You might as well throw bud smoking in there. But yeah, it's kind of sad though, because you already know it's more to the agenda, just like with everything else with the powers to be, because they actually got marijuana, get this, classified as stronger and more deadlier than fentanyl. When I seen that it's still classified like that, I was like, man, maybe they need to smoke them a little bit of weed. Because obviously whatever they doing got them losing their goddamn mind out here if you gonna say motherfucking marijuana is more dangerous than fentanyl. So I think it's long overdue, but like I said, this is Jay Synergy Talks. I'm talking about marijuana today. And what President Joe Biden is doing for the good citizens, people that's wrongly accused of growing a couple pounds and plants and trying to relax their mind with marijuana. So once again, this is Jay Synergy Talks. Make sure that you don't live in the matrix. Also remember that the fall is going to always be harder than the come up. Stay tuned to the end because I do have some exclusive footage on Biden speaking out against the marijuana laws and why he's about to pardon a lot of people. So let's give a clap up to Mr. Joe Biden. With that said, this is Mr. Jay Synergy. This is Jay Synergy Talks. Make sure y'all continue to support. Stay woke, people. Stay blessed. Try to do better every day that you can. And also, the most important thing, smoke them if you got them. Stay tuned and check out the rest of this content from Joe Biden. Legalizing and imparting certain areas of the federal laws with the weed. I'm Mr. Jay Synergy. Stay blessed, stay focused, and stay updated on this information.
Surprises. One of them coming just this afternoon from the Biden administration, which has announced that the president is pardoning thousands of Americans who were convicted of possession of marijuana. And the White House is asking governors to do the same.
Yeah, Nancy, well, this is a pretty big decision coming from the White House today, and it basically does three things. First, the main component is that it pardons federal offenses of simple marijuana possession. It also urges governors to do the same, and that's significant because the White House says that the majority of marijuana offenses are at the state level. So you're seeing that urging there, and there are a handful of states where marijuana is not only illegal, but it's also criminalized, and it hasn't been decriminalized yet. And it is also ordering the Health and Human Services Department to essentially review the way that marijuana is classified. The Biden administration argued that it's essentially classified on the same level as heroin and less and stronger than fentanyl, which of course is a huge issue. So this kind of taken together, the timing is really interesting here, which we'll talk about in a moment, but who it stands to benefit, they say about 6,500 people will benefit from this, but it's important to note that no one is currently serving federal prison time for a simple marijuana sentence. So it's not going to all of a sudden release lots of people from jail. The main point of it, as you heard from Biden, was that it kind of removes these barriers for people when they're applying for jobs, trying to get housing, and other types of barriers in place. But the administration hailing this as a big deal.
Stephen, I think it's such an important point that Caitlin makes, which is that nobody is currently serving time in federal prison solely for federal marijuana possession. So it's not as if these pardons open the floodgates for people to be let out of prison. Nobody's going to get let out of prison at this moment because of this executive order. Yet it is still a big shift for this president.
It's a significant one, and I think the last point that Caitlin made in terms of what the president's going to be doing today is important. He's starting a conversation within the federal government of reclassifying marijuana. For decades, in contravention of public opinion in this country and the decisions of several states, marijuana has been classified as a Schedule I drug, which essentially says that there's no useful medical purpose. I mean, so many states say that there is a medical use for marijuana. So the conversation is going to begin for the first time in decades. Advocates say it's long overdue. Most Americans would say it's long overdue. But importantly, politically, this is something now less than 5 weeks to go before the midterm elections. The president is going to be able to turn to young people in particular and say, this is something that I'm doing that you're concerned about. despite the fact that for years, Joe Biden, as a senator and even as a candidate, was a bit reluctant to say that there should be a decriminalization. He most recently said in a campaign that he does not believe that people should go to prison for marijuana use, but he also believed that there should be some scientific conversation here about the impact of marijuana. And that's part of the review that HHS and the Department of Justice are going to be undertaking.